Hello, assalamu alaikum everybody, and we are back with another live stream of FOMC, guys. And now let's see what the market will do. Still, this is the level that we given on our previous stream, and we're using this level. And now we are waiting for a beautiful pullback till up here, and gold. Yeah, let's go. So personally, what I'm looking on gold is that we have to come back to this level at 5179, and then we will start moving toward the buy side. So kind of interesting thing, very interesting personally. So let's wait for this. यार मुझे बता फेड की जो इंटरेस्ट रेट, हाँ इंटरेस्ट रेट पे डिस्कशन पे सब पता लगेगा. Bro, all you have to do is just go for the sell on gold right now. Seriously, from this point till this point.
क्या कर यार ओए हाँ गोल्ड की सैली है भाई
Go
पर एफएमसी में वैसे जाता है
like अगर मैं अपना एक लिमिट ऑर्डर, ये FOMC लाइव है भाई, FOMC लाइव करेंगे हम. So my SL will be somewhere around here. Let's go somewhere around here and let's just reduce this shit to 3 contracts. And let's move TP somewhere around here. Sell. Okay. So we are doing 2 trades right now at 2 different points. 2 trades, 2 different points. Let's see everybody. Just 10 minutes left. Just 10 minutes left and we are at the beautiful zone. Okay. On Nasdaq, we are on Nasdaq. First of all, Nasdaq is totally bullish. This is the personal trade that I'm looking for. And today, if we can close somewhere around here, legit analysis ever done by me. Legit analysis, seriously. So let's see. 2 p.m. पे 2 p.m. पे over here. 2 p.m. पे guys. 2 p.m. is just 9 minutes away. We are going to get a new. Just 9 minutes more, brother. Just 9 minutes more. And then we will see either it's a TP or it's an SL. Live trade, live everything. Sami. ओसामा साहब इधर ही हो?
हाँ जी, वीर साहब को देख रहा हूँ मैं, पता नहीं कौन सा क्या इस्लामिक बाल बन जाता है थोड़ी देर बाद.
so यार मुझे दीन वाला रूम लगता है इसका, मुझे सही वैसे मजे का रूम है इसका. इस
मेरी
मामले
बात कर रहे हैं
इधर बड़े मजे की एडिट्स बना.
बात कर रहा हूँ किसी इस्लामिक बाल के बच्चे.
ओए सारे क्या कहते हैं, मेरा टीपी जाएगा एसएल जाएगा, गो अहेड एंटिसिपेट. चलो बताओ.
स्टक हो जाएगा यहाँ पे भाई मार्केट.
मुझे सब पता है क्या कह रहे हो गाइस, क्या हुआ बैग जरा बताओ, एनालिसिस बताओ फिर मैं.
मैंने बाय की ली है मतलब नैस्डैक में बाय जाए, मतलब
अबे
ऊपर
क्या
जाए.
देख के लिया आपने?
मैंने 4 आवर की कॉन्फ्रेंस ओपन क्लोज.
भाई उसामा कितना सीख लिया इससे?
मैं ए टू सी सब सीख लिया मैंने. अभी तो कह रहा हूँ बता तूने क्या देख के लिया.
ओपन क्लोज देख के लिए मैंने.
अबे सिखा इसको सही तरह एक प्रॉपर एक अलाइनमेंट से सिखा इसको. मिक्स ही सिखा रहा है इसको सारा.
100 pips gold पे and more than 240 pips on Nasdaq. Let's see. Either are gonna get stop out from both sides.
गाइस न्यूज़ क्या कहती है?
न्यूज अभी आएगी ना, अभी न्यूज बताएगी, न्यूज का ही तो यही तो प्लान है सामा साहब, यही तो चीज है। What will you say, Osama साहब, buy or a sell? Come on.
6 मिनट रह गए हैं भाई, पढ़ा ही नहीं कुछ भी इस बारे में, नॉलेज।
Is jobs the threat to the economy?
So with tariff inflation, it takes, there's the announcement
थर्सडे है भाई, आज
of
अच्छी
a
ट्रेड्स
tariff,
मिलने को
and then
मिलेगी
there's,
शायद।
they start to take effect, and then it takes
What
some
I'm
months
anticipating right now is
goods
gold
may
is
have to
going
be
to go
shipped from
toward the
other
sell
Oh,
side.
shut
places.
up,
You know, it
man.
can take,
Bruh, like I'm serious, bruh, like
quite a
literally
while
I'm
for an
serious.
individual tariff
Gold
to
will
take
go
effect.
down
But once
and
it's
Nasdaq
taken
will go
effect,
like
then the question is,
pump, total
just a
pump
one-time
towards the
process.
buy
1
side.
minute 24
We
seconds
actually
left.
look at all of the announcements and
6
and
minutes
We're
has
heading
been left,
straight
guys.
for
6
the
minutes has
console
been
trade.
left.
roughly,
Let's go, let's
we
go.
can't
Federal.
predict this with any precision. No one is. But
Nasdaq is
first
pumping
quarter
right
Federal
now.
funds rate.
of next
Right
year
now
should be
Nasdaq is
weak.
pumping, brother.
And from here, it should
I'm
be.
hoping gold will
It should be
dump
a couple
again.
tenths or even less than that. We don't really have
Gold
precision
will
on this,
dump,
but-
guys.
And after that, again, if there
Till
are no new tariffs
I'm
that are being
not sure,
announced,
but
that will
To make a
take 9
perfect
months to
open,
get full.
high, low,
1
close.
month is also
यार मुझे लग रहा है
Yeah, but the market
5880
opens,
5081
it
तक गिरेगा.
goes straight forward
Let's see if I could
up.
address
Is there anyone in the chat, guys?
openly
There is no
about,
freaking
under
fucking
the
guy in the chat.
Does that
What the
hinder
fuck?
your current job right now, or change your thinking at all?
No.
Okay.
No mulligans for it.
भाई टाइम ही नहीं गुजर रहा.
Mike from Bloomberg Radio and Television. 10-year rates are 50 basis points higher than when you started cutting back in September of 2024, and the yield curve basically has been steepening. Why do you think that continuing to cut now, especially in the absence of data, is going to bring down the yield on the thing that will move the economy the most?
So we're looking at the real economy, and
It's kind of
focusing
think
on
they're
that.
going
And
to hold
you
rates,
look at
guys.
When the long bonds.
There's an
yield
article
have
which
got a little
says
bit wider
Federal
moving
Reserve
around. If you look at
expected to
inflation
hold rates
compensation,
steady.
It's very
Dollar
complicated.
rebounds.
That's one part of it. is
So
inflation
let's see,
compensation,
let's see,
break-evens.
guys. Let's
And,
see.
They're at very comfortable levels. They're at levels consistent.
I might
Past the,
be,
once you get out past
like,
the very short.
There's a very short amount of chances that we can get wrong. अभी तेरी आवाज नहीं आ रही. I can't hear you, brother. I literally can't hear you. Bro, like seriously, bro, let's go, let's only fucking 5 minutes left, 4 minutes left, guys. And last second 7 count karenge. All right, everybody. It will be like 10,
Alright.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 1. All right. Last 7 count karenge sare.
Alright. Alright, homie.
So
जैसे अभी अभी क्या टाइम चल रहा है गाइस?
3 मिनट रह गए हैं.
3 minutes left.
ओके
3 minutes left. Yo, brother, if this trade get TPs, I am literally going to get naked on the stream. Seriously.
जेन्युइन बात तो और
The stream पे लगा आ जाऊंगा, genuine बात है. If this trade goes like in my favor, seriously, I will be like,
ट्रेड तू नहीं ले रहा, ट्रेड तू नहीं ले रहा.
1, 2, 3, 4 straight
Oh.
5 days in a profit, guys. Seriously.
अभी ट्रेड नहीं ले रहा.
ना वो नहीं.
नहीं यार, आज मैंने ले लिए. मेरा आज
क्या किया तूने आज?
भाई आज $30 का लॉस किया. गोल यार मेरा ब्रेक इवन हिट करके ना
बस $30. छोटी
हाँ,
बात है यार,
भाई.
ये 30 पे क्यों रो रहा है भाई?
ओ मेरी जान
तीन
फंडेड है
वाली
ना, पास करना है इसलिए 30 है. रियल पे देखो तो 10,000 रुपया बनता है.
अच्छा सॉरी.
Let's go, everybody, let's go, let's
मैंने अपना
go.
पहली दफा जो अपना पैसे जो डिपॉजिट किए थे ना एक्स ने, वो 10,000 किए थे और वो एफओएमसी पे
Okay, guys, 1 minute and 30 seconds has been left.
नाइस.
Please get a pump, Nasdaq. Please get a beautiful pump,
5 मिनट की तूने
Nasdaq.
5 मिनट की ली यार था
भाई नहीं डंप करके पंप करे ना
No, no. Please pump Nasdaq. All I
अबे
want
नहीं
is a
ना
beautiful pump. No dump at all. Okay, guys. Last
You
50
finish
seconds. 50 seconds. Last 50 seconds.
oh hell nah
Oh, hell nah. Oh, what the fuck? I just changed. This is
okay
the
let's
gold
see
and this is the Nasdaq. Chat. Everyone spam
36
if we get the W.
34
There's no one in the chat. What the fuck?
32
Seriously.
भाई गोल्ड ने डंप करना है गोल्ड डंप ही करेगा
And Nasdaq pump karega. Nasdaq should pump, guys. And guys, 20 seconds. 20 seconds only. And
seconds
now the countdown
5 सेकंड जा
begins.
रहे हैं इसने मूवमेंट शुरू
10,
कर देनी है
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
होने
1.
लगी शुरू
1
Let's pump, bro. Come on. Let's pump, fucker. What the fuck? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Come on, pump, you motherfucker. Come on.
अरे अभी चलेगी आहिस्ता आहिस्ता अभी उसमें
Nasdaq.
स्पीच कर रहा है वो देख तो सही क्या कह रहा है
यार एक सेकंड में स्ट्रीम से खोल लेता हूँ 1 सेकंड में खोल लेता हूँ ओके 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 ओके
ओए 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 गोल्ड गया ऊपर
The journey to mastery begins in the shadows of doubt.
ओए ओ भाई
And the best thing we can do there is both to support economic
भाई
activity,
गोल्ड
but
बहुत
also,
खतरनाक
Bro, Nasdaq is pumping.
um,
Get the
make sure
fuck out of this
when
shit.
tariff inflation goes
Come on,
down and
come on,
disappears,
pump
inflation
Nasdaq,
will
come
go
on.
down
देख
to
विकेट
2%.
किस तरह मारा वीक देख वैसे 1 मिनट
Are we in? Are we in the cells? Are we in the gold cells, guys? Come on.
Growth being negative. Why do you think job growth is
No,
so
gold
much
is
worse
pumping.
than some of the
I'm on
official
sell
data?
on gold and buy on Nasdaq, guys.
To follow up on your comments about job
This
growth,
will
After you tap
be
the
like
than the official
legitly,
data
I'll say
is
this will
suggesting.
be
You
one of the
have
best
no-
trades that I ever did
We
if
just-
I get the
we
TP
know,
on
I
both
think
trades.
this is, I don't think this is
Nasdaq is
particularly
dumping.
controversial. There's a
Nasdaq is
it's very
dumping.
difficult to estimate job growth in real time. They don't count
Let's
everybody. They have a survey.
not do this
and
shit.
There's been something of a systematic overcount.
Pump you, bitch. Come on,
And so
pump.
what we expected, and they correct it twice a year. So the last time
Yo,
they corrected it,
no, hell no.
ये क्या
No,
हो रहा है
hell
oh
no.
my
Right.
god
And that was exactly what happened. So we think that has persisted, and so there's an overcount in the payroll job numbers. We think continuing, and it will be corrected. I don't have the exact month in my head right now, but
I either take a
that's
stop
just-
loss
I don't-
instead of
again, I
break
think
even, brother.
forecasters generally
Seriously,
understand
I will
that.
take a
So-
stop loss
and we
instead
think
of a
it's
break
about
even.
60,000 a month, so 40,000 jobs could be negative 20, and that could be wrong by
Oh.
10 or 20 in either direction. But in any case,
My
and
God.
the thing is that's job creation in a way. That's demand. Labor supply has also come down quite sharply. So, if you had a world where there's just no growth in workers and you really don't need a lot of jobs to have full employment, some people argue that's what we're looking at.
भाई
But I think
अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट चल रही है वो देख
job creation is negative. I just think we need to watch that situation very carefully and be in a position where we're not, pushing down on job creation with our policy.
When we're talking about supply, we have seen major American employers like Amazon cite AI in job cuts. How much right now are you factoring in AI into the current weakness in the job market?
So it's probably part of the story. It's not a big part of the story yet. We
Bro,
don't know
what the fuck? We just created an SMT.
for
Bro,
example, if you
there
look
is
at-
no point of going
you
down.
can't
Pump
miss
you,
the
bitch.
announcements of layoffs.
Pump as much as you can.
And also companies saying that they're
Come on,
not
pump
gonna
as much as you can,
hire
Nasdaq.
time,
There is
and they
no
cite
going
AI.
down, brother.
That's all clearly happening. At the same time,
Bro, I just missed my
people are not
trade by
filing for
just 1
unemployment
pip
insurance.
on gold.
And since job creation
Toward the sell side.
job finding rates are extremely low. If there were big numbers of layoffs, you'd expect the
Bro, come on,
continuing
pump.
claims to
Nasdaq,
go up,
come
and
on,
you'd expect
pump.
new claims to go up.
Please,
We
you
really
bitch,
haven't
pump.
much. So it's a little bit curious. Longer term, though, the question is, what are we going to see here? And we don't know, but it's, it may be that in past really significant technology innovation eras, you have.
I think we're gonna pump on
jobs
230.
destroyed and other jobs made.
If I'm not
what's
wrong.
happened for a couple hundred years,
When the
is
press conference
when
will
you get
be
through all
over.
that, you have
What do
higher
you say,
productivity
Abir?
And you have new jobs, and there are enough jobs for people. This
Oui, Sundar.
this may be different. It's every time we have a wave of technology, we think, oh, this could put a lot of people out of work. What are they going to do? In the past, there's always been more work and higher productivity, and incomes have risen.
Let's go.
What will happen here, we're going to have to see. But right now is such early days. We don't think we see much. It's certainly not showing up in layoffs yet.
बहुत मुश्किल है, कुछ भी नहीं कहा जा सकता भाई।
Bloomberg News.
Intense movement, guys.
Views on the policy committee.
एक साल के बाद ट्रेड कर रहा हूँ ना इसको
Policy what?
FOMC देख रहा हूँ।
Why is there such a division of views between the presidents and the board members?
It's not so stark as that. The views are more varied in each group as well. There's some of that, but I would say they're also governors and they're people on both sides in both groups. I wouldn't put too much in that.
Let's go,
And just to follow
Nasdaq.
up,
Let's go.
Given
Come
your
on.
growth upgrade, how would you factor in, or what would be the economic impact if the Supreme Court is to strike down the tariffs that they're currently hearing, please, in terms of growth and inflation? Thank you.
I really don't know. It would depend. It would depend on a whole bunch of things we don't know. So I can't really help you there.
Christine. Thank you, Chair Powell. Christine Romans, NBC News. I wanted to ask you about how the higher income households are really driving spending right now. They're backed by home equity and stock market wealth, but lower income consumers are really struggling with the accumulation of 5 years now of rising prices. It's price levels, not really the inflation rate, holding some of these families back. How sustainable is this so-called K-shaped economy, and what are the Fed's thoughts on whether that's a risk going forward?
So we do, through our vast network of contacts and just through our observation of what's going on in the economy.
Guys,
we
it's
hear
kind
about
of
this a
interesting
lot.
right now.
If you listen to the earnings reports for consumer-facing companies that tend to
If
deal with low and moderate income people,
I
they'll
get stopped out by the
say
market and then
that
market
we're
moves in
seeing
my favor,
people,
that will be a
tightening their
bad
belts,
thing, brother.
Serious.
Serious.
Changing products that they buy, buying less, and that sort of thing. And so it's clearly a thing. It's also clearly a thing that asset values, housing values, and securities values are high, and they tend to be owned by people more at the higher end of the income and wealth. So as how sustainable it is, I don't know. Most of the consumption does happen by people who have more means. I think the top third accounts for way more than a third of the consumption, for example.
230, bro.
So,
I don't know why I'm getting
it's
a
good
feel of
question how
accumulation.
sustainable
Like,
that is.
मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है accumulation कर
Is
देगी
to-
market, accumulate
is
कर
to have
देगी.
price stability and a strong labor market. What we saw, for example, what we saw at the end of the very, very long expansion that ended with the outbreak of the pandemic, we saw that it was 10 years and 8 months or something like that, the longest one in recorded history. In the last 2 years, most of the largest part of the wage gains were going to people in the bottom quartile, the bottom part of the low and moderate income. So,
Bro, can someone check the stream and let me know okay, stream सही है या नहीं, please.
Time is really, really
Sama sahab?
good from a social standpoint. It's helping people
हाँ
at
मुझे
the
देख के बताना
lower
जरा.
income
एक मिनट के लिए
levels,
बस stream
and
देख
that's
के
what we
बता.
all want to get back to. But we got to have price stability, and we got to have full employment, maximum employment.
And just quickly, you mentioned the housing market remains kind of weak. With these rate cuts that we've seen, is there a chance we're going to see more affordability in the housing market so more people can maybe enjoy that part of wealth creation? I mean, the average age or median age of a first-time home buyer is now 40 years old. That's the highest on record.
Yeah, so the housing market faces some really significant challenges, and I don't know that a 25 basis point decline in the federal funds rate is going to make much of a difference for people. Housing supply is low. Many people have very, very low rate mortgages from the pandemic period, and they kept refinancing and caught the really low. So it's made expensive for them to move. And, we're a ways away from that changing. Also, we haven't built enough housing in the country for a long time, and so a lot of estimates suggest that we just need more housing of different kinds. So
लाइव चैट नहीं आ रही
housing's
Live chat नहीं आ रही, live chat क्या नहीं आ रही? Show.
The tools to address it are we can raise and lower interest rates, but we don't really have
कुछ
the
लिखना
tools
live
to
chat में कौन मैं
address,
check करूँ?
a secular housing shortage, a structural housing shortage.
आ रही
नहीं, इधर कुछ टाइप करना, मुझे पता लगे इधर मेरे पास चल रही है कि नहीं.
Thanks. Chris Rugaber, Associated Press. You mentioned on inflation, services inflation being low, goods inflation looking like maybe it'll peak. We had the wages report you mentioned today showing moderating wage growth. Where are the inflation risks? It looks like inflation is cooling in your view. At the same time, you have potentially negative hiring. Why not? Why aren't we hearing more about maybe more cuts in this environment?
Well, I think the risk inflation is pretty clear to see, and that is,
Bro, if there's mother brother cuts the rate, market should go up instead of going down.
Most of the inflation over target.
Market should go up. They are talking about the rate cut stuff.
We expect, most of us, that inflation will be a one-time price increase and then come down. We just came off an experience where inflation turned out to be much more persistent than anyone had expected. Is that going to happen now?
Oh, this fucking
That's
pumping.
the risk is
भाई ये फजूल है यार.
that
I think they're gonna
Tariff
accumulate the
reaction
market.
will be
Seriously, I think they're gonna accumulate the market. They will know.
मेरे ख्याल से आधे घंटे तक इसका रिएक्शन आएगा.
Yeah,
नहीं आएगा.
that's what I'm thinking as well.
So you'll see, you see that.
We had 20
I think
minutes,
the other
like,
possibility is,
there are 20
is
minutes
less
left
likely,
only,
and that
bro.
is
Just
that,
wait like 20 minutes more
the
and then
labor
we will
market
see.
gets tight or the economy gets tight, and you see.
This is the moment of
just
truth, guys.
traditional
This is the moment of
inflation.
truth.
I don't see that as particularly.
We are
likely,
waiting for.
But so I
Either a
think,
TP or either a stop loss will decide our
all
journey.
across the committee, people see the picture pretty similarly, but see the risks quite differently. And some people do see the inflation risk, and I wouldn't dismiss that case. I don't dismiss that case, but you've got to make an assessment, and this is the assessment we made.
Hi, Chair Powell. Neil Irwin with Axios. So this has come up a couple of times today, but to be clear, do you believe that we're experiencing a positive productivity shock, whether from AI or policy factors or whatever? And how much is that driving the higher GDP projection in the SEP?
So yeah, I mean, I never thought I would see a time when we had 5-6 years of 2% productivity.
Another 15-minute candle, guys. We just need another 15-minute candle. Don't worry about that.
It was before it could be attributed to AI. I also think if you look at what AI can do, and if you use it in your personal life, as I imagine many of us have, you can see the prospects for productivity. I think it makes people who use it more productive. It may make other people have to find other jobs, though. So it could have productivity implications while also having social and labor market implications that we don't have the tools to deal with. But yes, I think we're definitely seeing higher productivity. I think it's a little quick to be saying it's generative AI, but I don't know. The pandemic may have induced people to do more automation and do more things with computers to replace people, and that raises productivity, output per hour.
Does that imply a higher neutral rate, and therefore the policy might be a little easier than it seems?
All things equal, yes, but all things aren't equal. There are many things pushing in different directions on where the neutral rate would be. But yes, that argument does come up.
Matt Egan.
Thanks, Chair Powell. Matt Egan with CNN. After today, you only have 3 more meetings at the helm of the Fed. Since becoming Fed chair, you've seen multiple trade wars, the pandemic, COVID reopening, period of high inflation. I know your term's not up as chair until May, but I'm wondering if you've given any thought to what you want your legacy to be.
My legacy. My thought is that I really want to turn this job over to whoever replaces me with the economy in really good shape. That's what I want to do. I want inflation to be under control, coming back down to 2%, and I want the labor market to be strong. That's what I want. And all of my efforts are to get to that place. They have been all along, but ultimately That's what it's. I don't have time to think about bigger
Inflation
things.
under control करनी है तो भैंस की
Years ahead to worry about that, but there's enough to do.
Bro, if they don't cut the rate, that is simple. We should go higher. Sorry, we should go lower. If they cut the rates, then we have to go higher. That is the simple shit.
Again, I'm focused on
नहीं कटेगा
my
ना?
remaining time as chair. I haven't got anything new on that to tell you.
He wanna keep rates steady as they were in the past.
Chairman Mark Hamrick with Bankrate. Even while many price levels remain
Introducing ClickUp Super Agent.
Yeah,
the
देखा?
world's first AI agent.
Price level remains up.
here as many Americans struggle with liquidity or emergency savings challenges. Is that just collateral damage or an unintended consequence because your tools are limited in addressing individual or household liquidity constraints, insufficient money in the bank?
I don't know. I wouldn't agree that that's collateral damage of our. I mean, over time, we do what we do in order to create price stability and maximum employment, and those things are hugely valuable. To all of the people we serve.
Okay. My trade is triggered on gold as well. Now that's the shit.
Slowing the economy, but we've moved back
ओए gold क्यों कर रहा है? Gold pump करेगा भाई.
Let's see. If I get starved out, no worries at all. Let's see.
So that's what we're trying to do.
Gold is exactly right into the breaker block.
I think what people are feeling is the effect of higher prices. There was a global wave, sort of every large economy in the world, sort of every large open economy, market-based economy in the world had a wave of inflation that looked an awful lot like ours. We actually came through better than any other country, substantially better. We had higher growth, we had better labor market, and this is really due to the American economy. We have an extraordinary economy.
Testing the breaker.
My colleagues and I remain squarely focused on achieving our dual mandate goals of maximum employment and stable prices for the benefit of the American people. Although important federal government data for the past couple of months have yet to be released, available public and private sector
deep,
data
guys.
suggests
Personally,
that the outlook for employment and inflation has not
it's a
changed.
shit move. Let me see what will happen.
Since our meeting in October. Conditions in the labor market appear to be gradually cooling, and inflation remains somewhat elevated. In support of our goals, in light of the balance of risks to employment and inflation, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to lower our policy interest rate by a 1/4 percentage point. As a separate matter, we also decided to initiate purchases of shorter-term Treasury securities solely for the purpose of maintaining an ample supply of reserves over time, thus supporting effective control of our policy rate. I will have more to say about monetary policy and its implementation after briefly reviewing economic developments. Although some key government data have yet to be released, available indicators suggest that economic activity has been expanding at a moderate pace. Consumer spending appears to have remained solid, and business fixed investment has continued to expand. In contrast, activity in the housing sector remains weak. The temporary shutdown of the federal government has likely weighed on economic activity in the current quarter, but these effects should be mostly offset by higher growth next quarter.
215, guys.
reflecting the reopening.
Come on, pump.
In our
Nasdaq.
summary of economic projections, the median participant projects that real GDP will rise 1.7% this year and 2.3% next year, somewhat stronger than projected in September. In the labor market, although official employment data for October and November are delayed, available evidence suggests that both layoffs and hiring remain low, and that both households' perceptions of job availability and firms' perceptions of hiring difficulty continue to decline. The official report on the labor market for September, the most recent release, showed that the unemployment rate continued to edge up, reaching 4.4%, and that job gains had slowed significantly since earlier in the year. A good part of the slowing likely reflects a decline in the growth of the labor force due to lower immigration and labor force participation, though labor demand has clearly softened as well. In this less dynamic and somewhat softer labor market, The downside risks to employment appear to have risen in recent months. In our SEP, the median projection of the unemployment rate is 4.5% at the end of this year and edges down thereafter. Inflation has eased significantly from its highs in mid-2022, but remains somewhat elevated relative to our 2% longer-run goal. Very little data on inflation have been released since our meeting in October. Total PCE prices rose 2.8% over the 12 months ending in September, and excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices also rose 2.8%.
Brother, only 10 minutes left. And the
These
press
readings
conference
are
will be
higher
ending.
than earlier in
Only
the year
10
as
minutes
inflation
more.
for goods has picked up, reflecting the effects of tariffs. In contrast, disinflation appears to be continuing for services. Near-term measures of inflation expectations have declined from their peaks earlier in the year, as reflected in both market and survey-based measures. Most measures of longer-term expectations remain consistent with our 2% inflation goal. The median projection in the SEP for total PCE inflation is 2.9% this year and 2.4% next year, a bit lower than the median projection in September. Thereafter, the median falls to 2%. Our monetary policy actions are guided by our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. At today's meeting, the committee decided to lower the target range for the federal funds rate by a quarter percentage point to 3.5 to 3.75%. In the near term, risks to inflation are tilted to the upside and risks to employment to the downside, a challenging situation. There is no risk-free path for policy as we navigate this tension between our employment and inflation goals. A reasonable base case is that the effects of tariffs on inflation will be relatively short-lived, effectively a one-time shift in the price level. Our obligation is to make sure that a one-time increase in the price level does not become an ongoing inflation problem. But with downside risks to employment having risen in recent months, the balance of risks has shifted. Our framework calls for us to take a balanced approach in promoting both sides of our dual mandate. Accordingly, we judged it appropriate at this meeting to lower our policy rate by a quarter percentage point. With today's decision, we have lowered our policy rate 0.75 percentage point over our last 3 meetings. This further normalization of our policy stance should help stabilize the labor market while allowing inflation to resume its downward trend toward 2% once the effects of tariffs have passed through. The adjustments to our policy stance since September bring it within a range of plausible estimates of neutral and leave us well positioned to determine the extent and timing of additional adjustments to our policy rate based on the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. In our summary of economic projections, FOMC participants wrote down their individual assessments of an appropriate path of the federal funds rate under what each participant judges to be the most likely scenario for the economy. The median participant projects that the appropriate level of the federal funds rate will be 3.4% at the end of 2026 and 3.1% at the end of 2027, unchanged from September. As is always the case, these individual forecasts are subject to uncertainty and they're not a committee plan or decision. Monetary policy is not on a preset course, and we will make our decisions on a meeting-by-meeting basis. Let me turn now to issues related to the implementation of monetary policy, with the reminder that these issues are separate from and have no implications for the stance of monetary policy. In light of the continued tightening in money market interest rates relative to our administered rates and other indicators of reserve market conditions, the committee judged that reserve balances have declined to ample levels. Accordingly, at today's meeting, the committee decided to initiate purchases of shorter-term Treasury securities, mainly Treasury bills, for the sole purpose of maintaining an ample supply of reserves over time. Such increases in our securities holdings ensure that the federal funds rate remains within its target range and are necessary because the growth of the economy leads to
Convert your audio and video files to transcripts in seconds with
As detailed in a statement released today by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, reserve management purchases will amount to $40 billion in the first month and may remain elevated for a few months to alleviate expected near-term pressures in money markets. Thereafter, we expect the size of the reserve management purchases to decline, though the actual pace will depend on market conditions. In our implementation framework, an ample supply of reserves means that the federal funds rate and other short-term interest rates are primarily controlled by the setting of our administered rates, rather than day-to-day discretionary interventions in money markets. In this regime, standing repurchase agreement, or repo operations, are a critical tool to ensure that the federal funds rate remains.
I'm just cutting down the trade that I took on gold. The reason is quite simple. There is no move coming right now, guys. But the Nasdaq is still running. We will just look at the Nasdaq today.
To support monetary policy implementation and smooth market functioning, and should be used when economically sensible. To conclude, the Fed has been assigned 2 goals for monetary policy: maximum employment and stable prices. We remain committed to supporting maximum employment, bringing our inflation sustainably down to our 2% goal, and keeping longer-term inflation expectations well anchored. Our success in delivering on these goals matters to all Americans. We understand that our actions affect communities, families, and businesses.
There's a guy in the chat who says long and cute.
Everything we do is in service to our public mission. At the Fed, we will do everything we can to achieve our maximum employment and price stability goals. Thank you, and I look forward to your questions.
Howard.
Thank you. Howard Schneider with Reuters. Just first turning to the statement, just to be clear, we're on the same page here. The insertion of the phrase, considering the extent and timing of additional adjustments, does that indicate that the Fed is now on hold? Some clearer signal from inflation,
Nasdaq जा रहा है long.
Gold भी short जा रहा है.
Baseline outlook.
Gold का shaky है.
Bring our policy with a broad range of estimates of neutral. And as we noted in our statement today, we are well positioned to determine the extent and timing of additional adjustments based on the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. That new language points out that we'll carefully evaluate that incoming data. And also, I would note that having reduced our policy rate by 75 basis points since September and 175 basis points since last September, the Fed funds rate
Let's go, everybody. Nasdaq is pumping all that we want.
Value, and we are
this is what we want. Nasdaq to pump as much as it can. Come on, Nasdaq.
Follow up on the outlook there. It seems like with the additional GDP growth coupled with easing inflation and a fairly steady unemployment rate, this seems like a pretty optimistic outlook for next year. What's given rise to that? Is this an early bet on AI? Is there some sense of improving productivity out there? What's driving that?
So a number of things are driving what's happening in the forecast. And I would say if you look broadly at outside forecasts, you do see a pickup in growth in many of those now too. So it is it's partly that consumer spending has held up. It's been resilient, and it to another degree it is that AI spending on data centers and related to AI has been
3 minutes, guys. 3 minutes more.
So
3 minutes more. Only 3 minutes more.
The baseline expectation for next year is, at least at the Fed, and I think with outside forecasters too, is a pickup in growth from today's relatively low level of 1.7%. I mentioned that the SEP median is 1.7 for this year growth and 2.3 for next year. You actually, some of that is due to the shutdown. So you can take 0.2 out of 2026 and put it in 2025. So it would really be 1.9 and 2.1. But overall, yes, for a few reasons, fiscal policy is going to be supportive. And as I mentioned, AI spending will continue. The consumer continues to spend.
Okay,
so
just checking the stream.
It looks like the baseline would be solid growth next year.
Steve.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for taking our questions here. You had previously described rate cuts in terms of a risk management framework, and kind of following up on what Howard was asking, is the risk management phase of rate cuts over here, and have you taken out sufficient insurance, I guess, against potential weakness in terms of the data we might get next week when it comes to employment?
So we're going to get a great deal of data between now and the January meeting, and I'm sure we'll talk more about that. And the data that we get are going to factor into our thinking. But yes, we have, if you go back.
You got all the
a
way up
policy
90
rate of,
pips, guys. Like,
5.4% for
what else do
more
you
than a
need
year
more?
Because inflation was high, very high, and unemployment and the labor
70
market
pips,
was
I'm
really
high.
solid at that point.
70 pips, right?
So what happened is over last summer of 24, inflation came down, and the labor market began to show real signs of weakness. And so we decided, as our framework tells us to do, that when the risks to the two goals become more equal, you should move from a stance that favors really dealing with one of them, in that case inflation, to a more balanced, more neutral setting. And so we did that. We did
Bro,
some
just 1 minute
cutting,
left,
and then we
brother.
paused for a while to work our way through what was happening in the middle of the year. And then we resumed cuts in September, and we've cut now 3. We've now cut a total of 175 basis points. And as I mentioned, you know, we feel like where we're positioned now we're well positioned.
Yo, no, Nasdaq is dumping, bro.
Evolves from here.
If I could just follow up on the SEP, you have a whole lot of big increase in the growth numbers.
Yo,
but
fuck.
not a big decline in the unemployment numbers.
We just
And
dropped.
Is that an AI factor in there? What is going on in terms of the dynamic of you get more growth, but you don't get a whole lot of decline in unemployment? Thank you, sir.
So the implication is obviously higher productivity.
Nasdaq is dumping.
Some of that may be AI. It just also,
We're just pumping. We're just pumping, guys. We're just pumping.
Higher for several
Pumping.
years now. So if you start thinking of it as
Come on.
2% per year, you can
That's
sustain
good,
higher
Nasdaq.
growth
Come on, pump, bro.
without more job creation. Of course, higher productivity is also what enables incomes to rise over long periods of time, so it's basically a good thing, but that's certainly the implication.
Thank you. Colby Smith with the New York Times. Today's decision was clearly very divided. It wasn't just the 2 official dissents against the cut, but there were also soft dissents from 4 others. And I'm just wondering if this reluctance from several people.
Still, we are holding this bullish SMT all the way from here.
Good afternoon. My colleagues and I remain squarely
Let's
focused on achieving our
fucking go.
dual mandate
Let's
goals of maximum
fucking
employment and
go.
stable prices for the benefit of the American people.
All right.
The U.S.
All right.
economy
All right.
expanded at a solid pace last year.
All right. All right. That's what we are looking for. We just got the pump, and I'm just gonna take my stop loss to like somewhere around 60%, $60 to see what will happen. And I'll just let my trade run. Nothing bad has happened. And we are pumping all the way up, if I'm not wrong. If I'm not wrong, we are pumping all the way up because we have just cleared all the liquidities, everything. And now it's a beautiful time to go with the buy side. Fucking pump, Nasdaq. Come on. Don't be a bitch. Come on, Nasdaq. Come on. Guys, हमने 92 pips तक तो मार्केट लेके गए हैं. Like, we are not in a bad trade. Personally, अगर मैं कहूँ ना, we are like good. My personal reviews on this trade is quite good, not that bad. If I can get the closure above this area on 15-minute candle, it might be a good thing. If I can get the closure above this area, it might be a fucking good thing. 1 minute 37 seconds, 33 seconds. I think, guys, this is it for the stream. We are going to meet you in the next one. Till then, have a good day. And yeah, this is the trade. As you guys can see, I'm just gonna close it where I got my profits.